Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a really exciting one because I am going to be reviewing the new Milk Flex Foundation Stick. I saw this on Sephora a couple nights ago and it's the VIB sale, and I have a little spare cash that I wanted to invest in my channel. So I picked this up because it's new, it's exciting, it's really highly rated. So hopefully I will really enjoy this and have a new favorite foundation stick because I've had really bad luck with them in the past. Before we get to the application, I just kind of want to give you a few details about it. I have some notes on my phone just for reference. So this cost me $48 Canadian, which is fairly standard for a foundation. I'm pretty sure it's like 36 US dollars, which I think is fairly reasonable. So I compared it to a couple of really popular stick foundations that are currently on the market. So the Hourglass foundation is very popular. However, I don't really like it. I've tried it so many times and I just can't get it to work for me. It's not my favorite. The Hourglass foundation retails for $61 Canadian and it has 7 grams of product, which brings it to $8.7 per gram. The Makeup Forever Stick Foundation, which is also really popular but not cruelty free, so I don't have an opinion on it, but I just thought I'd throw it in here for comparison purposes, is $56 for 12.5 grams of product, bringing it to $4.5 per gram. And the little new Milk edition is $48 for 10 grams of product, bringing it to $4.8 per gram. So it's about on par with the Makeup Forever foundation stick, and it's almost half the price in cost per gram in comparison to the Hourglass stick. So that's super cool because I guess I don't even like the Hourglass stick, but like more affordable is always better. How many shades does this come in? I've tried to find my shade online. It was a little tricky, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't feel like there was one that I read the description and I was like, wow, that sounds like my skin tone. So I got the shade Creme. I've already swatched it, but I have no idea how it applies. The shade isn't perfect for me. I think I can definitely make it work. So they have 36 shades. So not bad, not great, and the shades appear to be fairly evenly distributed among the range. Like there's no, abundance of really light shades or dark shades. I understand if some brands like can't put out like 100 shades right at once, but at least they're evenly distributed, you know what I mean? Like at least there's no discrimination that way. How is there already 477 reviews on this product? I thought this was new. Okay, well, I guess this isn't going to be a very helpful foundation review if everyone's already reviewed it. It has 4.4 out of 5 stars. So it's supposed to be medium coverage. It's supposed to be a natural finish. Covers, calms, and flexes without the creasing or caking. That's the part that I think is really cool. It's supposed to move with your skin. That's like the flex part of the foundation. I think that's really awesome because a lot of the times I'll put like a full coverage foundation on and I'll feel really crepey. So I hope that that is true, that it's all flexible and stuff. Some of the ingredients are marshmallow root extract, which kind of concerned me because I was like, would marshmallow root extract be vegan? You know what I mean? But because marshmallows contain gelatin, but marshmallow root, I did a little research. Marshmallow root is obviously from a plant, and I guess the powder used to give it like a fluffy gelatinous finish, but most marshmallows are now made of gelatin. So it's still vegan, it's fine. I think that's actually, yeah, this product is vegan, cruelty-free, gluten-free, and the most exciting part for me, I don't know why I was like, it comes in recyclable packaging. You can recycle this, that's awesome. So I think it's the marshmallow root extract that's supposed to give the flex effect, because it's the ingredient that gives the candy its squishy abilities. It also has blue lotus to moisturize, chamomile and lavender to soothe and calm the skin. It's meant for normal, dry, combination, and oily skin. I have oily skin, so hopefully it holds up. I don't know. With foundation sticks, I haven't had much luck, but I have high hopes. So it has quite a few ingredients that it is formulated without. It's free of sulfates, SLS, SLES, parabens, formaldehydes, formaldehyde releasing agents, phthalates, mineral oil, retinol, palmitate, oxybenzone. Oh, okay. That's weird because it kind of smells like sunscreen. So yeah, this foundation stick sounds like it's going to be promising. So let's get into the application part. Okay, so I've zoomed you in a little more. My skin is pretty good right now. I have a couple blemishes and a couple scars, but that's nothing new. That's pretty standard. I'm not going to use a primer. It says for best results to use the Hydro Grip primer, but I don't like that primer. And I want to give this foundation a fighting chance. So I'm not going to use that primer. I'm not going to use any primer. That's just kind of what I've been doing lately. I haven't been really using primer and it's been really working for my skin. So what I'm going to do is I am going to apply it with a brush on this side. This is my Tarte Unicorn brush. This is like one of my favorite foundation brushes. And I'm going to use it with a sponge on this side. I'm fully expecting to like the brush part better just because I find it's easier to really maneuver and manipulate the foundation with a brush, but you never know. All right, so let's get to applying. I want to see if there's any special directions. How to use. Apply Hydro Grip primer or your favorite primer to moisturize prepped skin. My skin is prepped, it's moisturized, not going to use primer though. Swipe foundation where you want to cover and calm. Chin, forehead, cheeks, and center of face. Blend in with a brush. Apply Flex concealer for additional coverage or to brighten. Okay, so I mean fairly standard. So I guess I will start with, let's start with the sponge side since I don't have high hopes for that. Oh, well that emphasized my pores. It really smells like sunscreen. That's why I was wondering if there's SPF. That's why I was surprised when there's no oxybenzone in that. So I have my damp Real Techniques brush right here and we're just gonna start blending. Honestly, the color is not that bad for me. At first I was really cheesed about the shade that I chose, but it's pretty good. I did a pretty good job. I don't know if this is available in stores so you could check your shade like in person, but I feel like the shades were pretty accurate even though it didn't look like it. Like this foundation when I first got it, it almost had like a, or I guess before I swatched it because I just got it yesterday, it had kind of like, sorry I'm getting sidetracked, it had kind of like a dark top layer, like it looked super orange and I was really quite concerned. I don't know if I would call this medium coverage. I feel like I can still see, I mean I guess that's what medium coverage means though, right? I'm gonna see how buildable it is because I do like a little bit of a fuller coverage right in this area because I have a lot of scarring, and it also might be because I'm using a damp beauty blender. Obviously that will shear out pretty much any product, but so far I think I like the finish already more than the Hourglass one. Okay, it's not building well. That's concerning. It's not building on, well, it's building on the forehead okay, but not so much on that acne scar. Honestly, that's like a scab, so I don't think anything would have sat well on that. Okay, false alarm. Definitely, I'd say sheer to medium coverage, but I feel like coverage is very subjective. What I think is medium to sheer is going to be different than Samantha Ravndell. I always use her as an example because she's my favorite, but she likes a really sheer foundation, so she would probably think this is more medium to full, whereas I think it's more medium to sheer. That's pretty though. It has like a glossy, dewy finish, so we'll see how it wears because my skin is very oily. And let's apply it to the other side to see how it applies with the brush and see maybe if that makes the coverage any better. Oh, that was a lot more, I feel like. Oops. Of course the coverage is going to be more when you apply half the stick on your face. It's very easy to blend. That's one thing I did have an issue with the Hourglass foundation stick. I did find it pretty difficult to blend, especially with a sponge. So this blended fairly well. Pretty easy to manipulate and blend out. Definitely more for full coverage. Can't tell if that's because I applied a lot more by accident. I swear I didn't mean to. Or because it's with a brush. Which one do I like better is the question. I don't know which one I like better. This side definitely looks heavier and cakier. Not cakey, but cakier than this side for sure. But this side looks like there's almost nothing on it, like my sponge absorbed all of it. I don't know which I like better. Honestly, I think the brush, because like I kind of want to look like I have foundation on, but like not in a bad way. probably made no sense to like 90% of the population, but if you're a makeup lover, you get it, okay? I'm gonna add a little bit more just around my nose area, and I'm gonna add a little more on this area because that's where I see the big difference in coverage between this side and this side. Yeah, the finish is definitely a lot nicer on the sponge side than it is the brush side. Man, I can't tell. They look fairly similar. I mean, I'm gonna try and build it up a little bit on my nose. I have a blemish right here, so let's put it there. I think I'll try and blend a little bit down my neck just to make things more even. I feel like this would be a great everyday foundation for like school or work. Like if you're not, I don't know, an influencer looking for a full coverage beat every day, you know what I mean? I feel like this finish is really nice. We'll see how it works with my powders and stuff. Yeah, I like it. I like the finish so far. I don't know if I like the Beauty Blender or brush side. They look very, very similar now that I've added a bit more to each side. Yeah, they look pretty much the same. So whatever you like best. I wouldn't say that the application with a brush was necessarily a lot easier. Unlike other stick foundations I've tried in the past, the brush has always been a lot easier to manipulate and spread the foundation all over, but this was very easy to blend even with a sponge. All right, so now that my foundation is on, I'm going to, wow, I really like that finish. Like it has a bit of a glow, but it's not like shiny. Like I don't feel like I look oily, you know? So I'm gonna go in with more of a sheer concealer. I'm not gonna use Tarte Shape Tape because I feel like that would just be way too full coverage with this foundation. So I'm gonna use my Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Sculpting Concealer. It says to use their concealer, obviously, but honestly, I've never tried it and I didn't want to really buy it because I have a lot of concealers to go through. So we're just going to use this one because it's a little bit more sheer, and we'll see how these products play together. I really like this concealer, but I do find that it's a lot more prone to creasing on me. Sorry if you guys hear that dog. The dog next door has been barking all day. I think he has separation anxiety. There's really nothing I can do about it, but I apologize. He's so cute though, you can't even be mad, you know? I feel like that is a good amount of coverage for this foundation. Like I don't feel like it was too much. I think Tarte Shape Tape would have been way too much. So I'm just applying a little on my eyelids as well. Okay, so I'm actually really happy with how that looks, and now I'm gonna set with powder. I'm gonna use my Kat Von D Lock-It powder. Not my favorite, but it's all I have right now. Yeah, I don't have any other ones. I should get another Laura Mercier at the VIB sale. Okay, now I'm gonna just set the rest of my face. I'm gonna use this one. This is my Kat Von D brush. I really like this one. I feel like I should have zoomed you in before the powder so you could really see how it looks, but I forgot. I'm so sorry. This is a little bit light for me right now, I feel like, but we'll have to add life back to my face afterwards. I feel like I'm needing a lot of powder so it doesn't feel tacky. I really hate the feeling of tacky foundation on my skin. Really bothers me. Oh god, I got powder in my eye. Ow. So just note that it does feel a little tackier on the skin than say a matte foundation would. Even though it's a natural finish instead of like a luminous finish, it still feels fairly tacky, which I don't love if I'm being honest. So I have to use a lot of powder to get rid of that tackiness. And now I feel like I used so much powder that it doesn't look good. Crap. Maybe if I use my sponge to push some powder into the skin. Okay, so I think this is as good as it's gonna get for right now in terms of tackiness. On my cheeks, I can still, well, it's not too bad if I'm honest, but I don't know, it's not as silky as I prefer, but that's okay. So I'll zoom you in and you can see the finish. I feel like, honestly, it still looks pretty good, even though this isn't my favorite powder and I used a lot of it. You can kind of see the powderiness on my cheeks, but I added a lot of powder. If you don't mind like a tacky feeling, I feel like you might not have this issue. And it's nothing that a little setting spray can't fix. I feel like that'll just fix that right up. Other than that, I feel like it looks really good. Here's my acne scarring. Maybe if I turn down the lights, you'll be able to see it more. Hold on. So here is my acne scarring. As you can see, it's not completely covered. I didn't want to use concealer over top today just because I really wanted to see how the foundation covers with no help. So yeah, you can still kind of see it, but not that much. I mean, a little bit, but that's okay. I'm more concerned with how it evened out my skin tone, and I feel like it did a pretty good job. Here's how the other side of my face looks. My forehead. It looks pretty good. For an everyday product, which is what I would use a medium coverage for, I don't need every single thing to be covered, if that makes sense. I just kind of want everything to be a little bit evened out. And if I do have a blemish, I can easily just, you know, apply a little concealer underneath and that should take care of it. So I'm just going to apply the rest of my face makeup. I don't think you really need to see like bronzer and blush and stuff. I think the concealer and the powder are the main products that I need it to work well with. And then I'm gonna apply the rest of my makeup and I will be right back and I can tell you my final thoughts. Okay, so the look is complete. It's been about an hour since I checked in and the dog is still barking. I was waiting for him to stop, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. So this is the completed look. I just wanted to show you really quick, just in case you were wondering. I really love this shade I have on the lid. It's the Hourglass Scattered Light Glitter Eyeshadow in the shade Reflect. It's really pretty. At first when I swatched it, I was like, I don't know if it's worth like $38. I could probably get a similar effect using a ColourPop Super Shock shadow. And I still kind of feel like that, but it's definitely prettier on the eyes than it is swatched. And then to set everything in place, I just used my Cover FX Mattifying Setting Spray just on my sponge because the cap is all weird and it kind of spits at you. So I sprayed it on my sponge and then I just went over my face to kind of push it into the skin and set everything. I think it looks pretty good so far. Obviously I haven't worn it for more than an hour, but I think it looks good. I 100% already like it more than the Hourglass foundation. I did not like that one very much at all. This one is much better in my opinion and it's much more affordable, so that's a win. Overall, I would say this foundation is medium to sheer coverage. I like the packaging. I feel like the white could get dirty pretty quickly, but that's makeup for you. That doesn't really bother me. The shade range is pretty good. The price is pretty good. The application is pretty good. I definitely think that this is a foundation for like a busy gal on the go because you can just throw it in your bag. You can just literally just poop, poop, poop. Even if you don't have a brush, you could just blend it in with your fingers, or you could just bring like a little mini brush and it blends out really, really easily. You don't need any special tools. That's kind of a gripe that I have with stick foundations, is they're either super hard to blend out or they're just way too dewy. So I think this is a nice middle ground. I feel like my pores aren't really emphasized. I feel like I can't tell if it's kind of settling into a line there, but like that never happens to me. It's kind of weird. It does look a little dry around my mouth, but I do have quite a bit of texture there right now just from like past breakouts. The coverage over my acne scarring wasn't great, but it's pretty dark acne scarring. It doesn't always show up very dark on camera, but it definitely is in person. So not a lot of things cover that up. And if you do have a problem with that, you probably already have like a favorite spot concealer on hand. I think the color match was good despite me freaking out about it because it looked super dark in the tube when I first got it. Obviously I can't speak for the other shades, but this one is pretty good. And yeah, so far I do enjoy it. It does have a natural finish even with like the powder. I feel like, yeah, it's like a, when it's powdered, I feel like it's definitely like a matte natural finish. Like it's not, doesn't look overly powdered. So if it holds up throughout the day, this will definitely be like one of my go-to everyday foundations so far. And yeah, I will see you in a few hours at my first check-in. Hello again, my friends. It is now 5 p.m. I've had this foundation on for 5.5 hours. I'm so sorry if my hand is shaky. This camera's really heavy. I'm just hanging out here in my beauty room with my kitty. Anyways, so I've had this foundation on for about 5 hours. I really overlined my lips. I kind of look like a clown in the monitor. I was doing lip art and I always overdraw for lip art because I need more space to work. These little lips just don't cut it. So yeah, I really overlined my lips. I kind of look silly, but that is besides the point. This is a foundation check-in and I think it looks really good. Let me zoom you in and see if you can see. It's wearing off on my nose, which is really normal. That's my oiliest spot, as I think it is for most people. But I don't have that much shine on the forehead or in this area right here. That's where I also get really shiny. It's only been 5 hours, so I do have a little bit to go still. I'll probably do another check-in in a few more hours just to see how everything holds up, because usually around the 6-hour mark is when things start to go downhill, but things are looking pretty good so far. All right, guys, so it is now 8:30 p.m. and this is going to be my last check-in. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely starting to wear. My nose is pretty much gone. I'm starting to get shiny here, and it's kind of starting to break apart. Oh yeah, there's a good shot. You can really see. Starting to break up. That's fairly standard at this point. The 8.5 hour mark is pretty long time, so it's really broken up on my chin. That was expected though, because I was doing lip art. It stained my lips. My lips are super pink. I was doing purple lip art, that's why. So I really do like this foundation actually, even though past the 7-hour mark it was really struggling. For short-term wear, I really like it. And since it is medium coverage, when it does wear off, it doesn't look quite as bad as like a full coverage foundation would. But if I needed something that was gonna last a long time, this would not be what I would reach for. I would probably reach for my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define, or Fenty. Fenty lasts a really long time. Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion, Beauty Blender Bounce, those kind of foundations, if I needed something that was gonna really last. Typically those days are also days where I'd probably want a little more coverage anyways. So for every day, I really enjoy this foundation. So if you have oily skin, it has a thumbs up for me, and I would definitely recommend you check it out. Oh, I also forgot that this was with no primer. Ooh. So maybe with the mattifying primer, a little powder before the foundation, it could actually be really good. So I'm going to continue to test it out. This is just my first time wearing it, so I think I can definitely manipulate it, and I didn't do any touch-ups either. So overall, so far it's gotten a thumbs up for me. I do like this foundation quite a bit. Anyways, that is it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in if you've made it this far. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. Do you have a favorite stick foundation? If you do, leave it in the comments below because I'd be interested to hear about it. Please don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Let's roll it all the way up for the thumbnail. But yeah, so honestly, if I was wearing the... There's a guy taking pictures outside of my window. What are you doing, sir? Rye!